Boeing whistleblower Sam Salehpour, who has worked at the company for 17 years, is testifying before the US Senate, along with former Boeing manager Ed Pierson, former FAA engineer Joe Jacobsen, and safety consultant Shawn Pruchnicki. Many Boeing insiders have been speaking out in the aftermath of the Alaska Airlines 737 MAX 9 incident on January 5th. For its part, Boeing claims that the safety allegations made by Salehpour regarding the 787 and 777 are false. But let's examine 5 of the most important quotes from the hearing. The first comes from Senator Blumenthal and has to do with intimidation and concealment. He was isolated, transferred, even threatened for refusing to stay silent. What Boeing did was, in effect, trying to silence him, conceal and cover up the facts that he was trying to bring to their attention about basic defects in manufacturers' failure to properly fuse fuselage parts. Salehpour is alleging he faced years of harassment and exclusion for speaking out. He even alleges that a bolt was driven into the wheel of his car as a warning, concluding that, despite Boeing claiming to champion a culture of speaking up, consequences of speaking up suggest otherwise. The next quote has to do with use of force during assembly and comes from Sam Salehpour. Boeing has increased the fit-up force, or FUF, used in the shimming process to approximately 165 times the recommended level of force. After being repositioned from the 787 program to the 777, Salehpour stated that he saw workers using, quote, improper and untested methods to align parts in the 777, including cranes, other heavy equipment, and in one case saw a worker, quote, jumping on pieces of the airplane to get them to align. And then there was discussion on shimming shortcuts, with Salehpour stating, inspection data reviewed gaps within sections of 28 787 planes. This inspection found that 98.7% of gaps over 0.005 were not shimmed. It's claimed that up to 98.7% of gaps have not been shimmed at all in sections 41/43 or 46/87 of the Dreamliner. This increases the chances of a sudden fatigue failure, which would be catastrophic. In his estimation, over 1,000 airframes currently in service are affected. Salehpour allegedly told Boeing management that over 2,500 fasteners had a gap exceeding 0.005 inches, with one example uncovering a gap of 0.035 inches, over 7 times Boeing's limit. This could drastically reduce the aircraft's service life, according to an unnamed Boeing researcher. Indeed, this would reduce its life cycle from 53,400 flights to just 11,800. Boeing has disputed this, pointing towards stress testing that put a 787 through 3 times its estimated maximum flight cycles, or 165,000 flight cycles, with zero evidence of fatigue. Salehpour claims this was done with an aircraft that hadn't gone through the defective manufacturing process of later airframes, accusing the company of, quote, muddying the waters. And finally, former manager Ed Pierson is quoted as saying, the NTSB, FAA and DOT ignored Boeing's manufacturing problems until the Alaska Airlines Flight 1282 blowout accident. The leaders of these government agencies were finally forced to admit it, and now they are claiming they're on top of it and taking appropriate action. Don't believe it. Pierson said that despite Boeing claiming there are no records documenting its removal of the Alaska Airlines 737 MAX plug door, such records do exist. In fact, Pierson claims to have passed these records to the FBI personally, stating that Boeing's actions amount to a, quote, criminal cover-up. What do you make of all of this? Let us know in the comment section. In addition to our daily YouTube videos, Simple Flying publishes over 150 articles every week. If you're looking for the latest aviation news and insights, visit simpleflying.com.